how to handle parrots, literally how to deal with handling them. I've never done that. Anything on that.
Well, that's a good topic.
Mm-hmm.
No, we don't. I think we're on.
Yeah.
There we are.
Handling a parrot properly. There we are.
And I'm sure I could have come up with a better, something better than that, but
No, that's clear. It's a good
well, it's the
title.
topic, but it's not spiffy, but it's the topic. Yeah, the original title I came up with, which I couldn't get to right, it was Handling Parrots, Balancing Care and Understanding.
So the first chatters arrive. We have Lisa Banerjee and Calvin Thurston. So hello and welcome, both to you.
Hello.
Hello! Oh, sorry, Cecil. I didn't mean to make you fall. I'm being hammered.
Okie doke. And we have Basia Coldgrove joining us. So hello.
Hello.
Mhm. Mhm. Hammer, 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 KK.
Hasn't wasted any time, has he? He's got straight to work
Yeah,
hammering.
yeah, I'm just glad there's not a nail underneath his feet. Yes, I know you like it. I'm aware of it.
What a good boy.
Taking a rest? A short break.
So do we have some pink birds in the room?
There's a few. Jasmine.
Ooh.
She's being smart though and staying not getting too close to KK. He's on my shoulder. And there's Sugar.
Sugary bird.
Yes, I heard that little boy. And Mander. Oh, don't be hitting my cheap earbuds there, kid. Yeah, makes it a little difficult for me to hold the phone when you're whacking my earbuds.
Mm.
Actually, they're not bad for cheap.
I haven't seen the loose bird, I think. Not sure. Or have I? I see Mando
Yes.
just in the reply.
That's the
Loosey
bird.
goosey.
There's the goose. Ah, all have different places today. Okay, good. Mando
Yeah,
hiding back at Steve.
yeah. The only one who's in her normal station is good.
Well, we
Well,
won't see her moving.
these two boys are usually hanging around me, so that's normal for them too. But
Hmm.
what's with that foot? What's with that foot? Don't you have wings? I thought you had wings this time.
He says, I don't know what they're for, Dad. I don't know how they work.
Yeah, it's the difference between knowledge and wisdom, right? Knowledge is knowing that you can do something, and wisdom is doing it. So,
Or whether you should do it.
yeah. So I have KK pounding on my shoulder and
Hmm.
Cecil doing the roundabout with a toy.
Cecil definitely having a good time.
Yeah.
He takes advantage of every minute outside of the cage. He is one of the birds that absolutely hates being in the cage. He prefers the cage he's in, but he doesn't want to be in a cage at all. He
Yeah,
always gives
moving
me
house was tough for him. Had to be in the
oh,
cage for ages in the van.
Mm.
he was
Poor Cecil.
coming apart. He was
Yeah.
coming apart, and I had to move him a couple of times like that.
Cecil's
Not
also
like
talented in dismantle cages.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, he does. He's got that down, doesn't he? Well, KK's pretty good at it too. I had to put him in a smaller cage because he needs bead welds, and I didn't realize one of the cages I have has mostly bead welds on it. That's where he is.
And the super champion is Bob, at least with that one cage.
That was not the
Yeah.
cage for him. Yeah, that cage was the bars are way too small.
Mm.
He's okay in that King's Cage 507 because even though it's tack welded, he doesn't realize he can break the bars. I say he doesn't realize because if this guy can, he certainly could.
So Calvin Thurston misses the Babalu.
Yeah, well, he just went after Lorelai again. I mean, I was able to catch
We
him
know.
just as he leaped. So, well, it just
But
happened.
we know Babalu has a little fan in you.
Yeah, so he's not. I have to bring him out when I've got total control over him. So I have to be able to grab him before he goes after somebody. All they have to do is go on the floor in front of him, and he's after him. If I'm not looking. So
Yeah, Bob is smart.
yeah, well, yes and no.
He has that
Because
super
when
Triton power.
as soon as he does that, he's back in his cage. So
Mm-hmm.
he should be able to understand the consequence. But for some reason, it doesn't sit with him, or he doesn't care. Who knows? Can't read him. No way we can see in their heads, but he'll do it regardless of the consequences, and he knows the consequences.
Yep,
Because
that's a
I
Triton
don't.
thing. Triton
Yeah,
logic.
Yeah.
Hard
yeah.
to understand for us, non-feathered.
Yep.
So the topic today is going to be handling parrots, balancing care and understanding. It's a topic I've actually not done before. So, well, I have mentioned things about it, but I haven't done a whole talk about it. So it'll be kind of fun to get into that. Give a little more time for people to show up. Cecil, hey, 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 be nice, you little monster. I don't know what nice means. Would you stop that? Hanging out. What a face. You could stick a bottle in that face and you could break a wine bottle on a ship or something. Huh? He would probably enjoy that. I wouldn't want to, it'd have to be a bottle that's safe. Not sure what kind of bottle that would be. Are you sure about that, KK? Mm-hmm. Are you positive about that, KK the bird? That KK the bird. Oh boy. Hey, 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 hey.
Mm.
What are you doing? What's that foot
John
up
is
for?
cornered by the boys. Mm.
I see some sea salt. Sea salt?
Oh my gosh, KK. He's such a cuddle bug.
He is a cuddle bug. Okay. Yep. Hmm. And the one who had him before, I mean, there's no question Michael loved him, but he was afraid afraid the bird was going to bite him. And I warned him at the time, do not cut those wings. And he did anyway. And then, of course, he became much more aggressive after that. It's the old fight or flight thing. Given them before that, KK had the ability to fly. And when they took it away from him, he became more aggressive. So after the wings came back in, he calmed down. And that's a big one you can get into. I've gotten into plenty of arguments about that. There's a group of students, college students, who have a website on it goes through everything, the pros and cons, and their final answer is do not cut wings. Now there are a few exceptions. If you've got a bird you haven't it's not under control and you don't have the skill to deal with it, then you may have to temporarily do it, but it's not advisable. And it can cause other problems too. It can be the stimulus. It's not the initial cause, but the stimulus that will get them to pluck and do that. It's like a cue for something that's already there. You cue behavior that's already there. You don't cue behavior they don't have yet. So it's a stimulus that can cause it. And it also throws their balance off. So they can't sit on the perch normally. You just look at Romeo and how he moves around. He's afraid to move.
Hmm.
Nothing we can do about it. Fix it. Let's see if I can find that article. I have it linked somewhere. But when you're handling, let's start off on the handling. When you're handling birds, you have to. I mean, these guys are intelligent and sensitive. So if you do something that either frightens them or makes them doubt your lack, what's the word I'm looking for? Makes them develop a lack of trust in you. It's much more difficult to get trust back than it is with a dog. Maybe it's similar to a cat in that respect, because if you take a cat in to give it a bath, the next time you try to take it to the bathroom, you're going to probably need bandages. You might need bandages the first time, but once they know what you're doing, then they're out of there. So birds are like that in that if you do something that hurts them in some way, or they perceive it as something you've done to hurt them, you lose trust. So, and it can take a long time to get it back. So professionals handle them in different ways, which is one of the reasons you will hear me say, do what I say, not what I do. Because if you watch what I do and you see that I may pet a bird, like Cecil is mated to Lorelei. So if I pet him down the back a little bit, it's not going to make a big difference. He's not going to get stimulated by that. He has a mate. So you
And you're
might
his
see me pet.
father-in-law.
What's that?
And you're his father-in-law, so that would be gross.
Yeah, yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I'm her dad. Um, so when I say don't pet them below the neck, and you see me do it, I'm talking to amateurs here. And unless you've taken classes in ABA or you're a professional trainer, you should listen to that advice. Because long down the path that you walk saying, I can do this, when the bird starts attacking one of your children or attacking your friends, it's your fault for thinking, oh, it's like that John Cleese Faulty Towers, the ugly American. Think that you can do whatever just because you're you, right? No, you can't. So heed the advice whether or not you see me doing it. I know what I'm doing. I spent a lot of money and a lot of time and constantly using ABA. So even right now, I'm checking exactly what he's doing. If he gets too aggressive with the wood, I have to modify it. Otherwise, you guys are just going to watch him whack my head or my glasses. So it's for your own good that you follow the advice of experts. And I know that experts, especially in the U.S., people downplay experts. Oh, I can do it. Yeah, okay. Well, you think you can, but my uncle could shoot snakes from his motorcycle. I know because I was on the back of his motorcycle while he shot a rattlesnake in the middle of the road while we were approaching it. But I don't think most people could do that. He had the skill. He'd been around up in the high desert long enough dealing with rattlesnakes and stuff that he could deal with the situation. Although he didn't usually shoot them. If it's in the road and you're approaching it at 20 miles an hour, that might be what you have to do, because he couldn't have actually spun the motorcycle and stopped it to get the snake off the road, but it wasn't just out to kill them for fun, but it was to protect us. And since I was on the back of his motorcycle, there was no other option for him. But now there's two ways of dealing with them. There's the direct method, like you see right now, and then there's what we call protected contact. So if you have a bird that's aggressive, petting him down his back a little bit here, folks, so you can all. Now, I know the ones in the chat here won't do it, but people will come along later and go, see, he pets him down that. Protected contact is when you have a bird that you can't put your hand in their cage because they're too fearful. And they either attack out of fear or they obviously are so afraid you don't want to do it. So protected contact is through the bars. Okay. There's other ways of making protected contact. You could have a stick in front of you, that keeps them from lunging. That's also protected contact. Or you can just let them get in your face. This one. This is unprotected contact. We just call it PC for protected contact. So there are things you can do with protected contact where you are getting close to the bird, you're handling it in a way, like putting food through the bars, where you come bearing gifts, irregularly giving them a gift of whatever particular treat they like, or you're teaching them calm attention by looking at them through the bars and getting them to look at you, working that out so you can look at you for 30 seconds or a minute without taking their eyes off of you. That's an important thing to teach them, to pay attention to you. Because there's a good reason to pay attention. You're not forcing it. You have to teach them to want to do it. They get rewarded for doing it, right, Cecil? Hmm? What do you think, Cecil? So usually when someone gets a bird, they're going to be enthusiastic about it. And it's, oh, I got this new bird. That enthusiasm wears off after a while. And therein lies the rub. They want the same attention every day they got the next day. So it's important to do proper handling from the beginning. So putting them just on the head, the top of the beak, not so much the lower section because that's sometimes used in mating. So petting them on the top of the head. He likes to be pet on the top of the head, don't you? And then you can pet down the sides, just under the eyes, not too much up front. Try to stay in the back of the head. This is what you want to do with your bird in the beginning. They will do things like put their wings out a little bit. I'm going to make it up here. Put their wings out and try to get you. They'll move their head and try to get you to pet down their back and down on their. Oh, my bird likes it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, at 1:30 at night in the bar, there are things people like too that you probably don't want to be doing, but so there are fairly, I think even Parrots for Dummies is a good book that talks about that kind of handling. Now, if you're petting them somewhere else, you're petting them on their chest, especially petting towards the tail section down here, you're asking for trouble because once you get them sexually excited, then you're going to have issues. So, and those issues can be severe, such as they can start attacking other people to protect you, or they might even turn around and bite at you because they're trying to warn you about something. So you want to handle them right in the beginning. So learning that proper petting technique is critical. But you will see professionals do all kinds of things with birds. If you know a bird well and you know you know how they react to you, you can do things that the amateurs can't do. Amateurs don't know, so they just think, oh, he did that, so why can't I? Well, later on when you're getting your lips sewn up or something, then you'll find out. Because what you do can harm them emotionally or physically, and what they do can harm you. That beak is a powerful tool. He chips wood up with that beak. And this wood did not come this way. Okay. Sorry, did I touch your wood? It's your wood, isn't it? Anything in their beak is theirs, okay? And trying to take something out of their beak is probably one of those things you don't want to do. And I don't normally do it. So he doesn't usually get bothered if I touch it. And that's from lots of reaching over and touching what's in his beak. So he doesn't get the idea of trying to take it. Right? Right? What are you doing down there? What are you doing? What are you doing?
Okay, Kay. He's such a cuddle bug.
He's a total cuddle bug.
And the Moluccans are so quiet.
Yeah,
Too
they're not
quiet.
doing much. Sugar
And
is
that's so
preening.
funny. Last time we had a meeting or so, they did quite a show. So Amanda tried to be social with Jasmine, which made Jasmine like running for the rest of the meeting on the cage in circles.
And she was having a blast. She does
Running
the
in
song and
circles, doing
dance.
slappies and doing jazzy songs, and Sugar was loudly whining and saying hi.
Yeah, Jazzy does the jazzy bird thing. She does the songs and dances, and good name for her.
Mhm.
Jasmine, the jazzy jazz bird.
Jazzy jazz. Did we greet all of our viewers? I can't remember.
What's that?
I think where have I stopped? I think. Let's see. No, I guess let's continue with Bukchia Shah. So hello and welcome, and Sam and Jamie. Hello, good to see you guys.
Hello.
Oh, hello. Amanda, can you say hello?
From back there, Amanda. Cute little Amanda.
I think he can, but whether he'll do it on demand, who knows?
No, Amanda's also a bit stubborn.
Well, he knows better than coming over here, right?
Mm.
Because KK's being good, but KK doesn't particularly like it when he comes over. I have to watch KK because he gets territorial. It's that territorial. I don't know if we caught any of that on video, but it's hard to do. The problem with that is I'm too busy trying to keep the birds from killing each other. Oh, I don't usually catch the video, but when you see him, you would think, I don't want that bird around me because he's a monster. He's trying to kill another bird. That's just territoriality, folks. Any bird can do it. The smallest bird we had with us early on was Simone. That's before I took my second class, actually my third class at ABA, and she would chase him, and it was dangerous because it looked like she was going to try to kill him. The problem was her territory was the entire room. She, and I don't quite know how it got there because, like I say, I hadn't taken all my classes yet. So I look back on it, and somewhere along the line, I was letting her get too much territory in her head. So she should have been stopped earlier on. Instead, she ended up going to one of my friends in New Jersey. That's kind of like sending somebody to, you know, down deep in the earth. She went to New Jersey, but she's a happy bird and well taken care of. So he gets weird ideas in his head too. I'm gonna come over and do this or do that when KK is right here. He gets over and he gets to sit here, but that's after KK leaves. So today it will be a little odd because I have to go get water and then come back. They've got a special on the water today, so save some money to get 15 5-gallon containers of water. Well, another thing too about handling them is routine and consistency. So parrots thrive on that. They like to have things known. Okay, so if you approach them at odd times, a good example, this one, the sugar bird up here, different face, sugar. If you go to pet her after breakfast, she doesn't want that. And she will back away from you and look at you like you're insane. But if you don't pet her in the morning before she gets her breakfast, then she's upset. And she may not eat right. So
Oh dear.
that's routine and habit. So they've all got it. They all develop some kind of a routine. So and sometimes you have to break their routine and try to. I've been working with him to get him more active because he used to be a lot busier than he is. And he's busy outside the cage, but once he's back in it, he's just trying to make a nest. That's all he wants to do. So, and then he'll just hide in his little nest. And he used to be so active tearing up toys. Now he gets one or two toys a week, and it used to be 1 to 2 toys a day. So, and we're talking big toys. With this is the average size of the wood, and there'd be 7 pieces, 8 pieces of wood like this, and he'd go buzz through it. This one down below me here, he'll do that. Lately, he's been a total buzzsaw, but so you may need to work on changing the habits that they have and the routines they're used to if there's a need for it. And no matter what's going on, you try to approach your parrot calmly and confidently. Sometimes it might not look like that when I'm trying to get 2 birds separated so they don't get injured. They don't tend to injure each other right off the bat, but if you let them keep going for a while, you're going to have a problem. So you may occasionally, if we're in here and something happens, hear me yell because they don't pay attention to you talking quietly, and they can yell louder than I can. So I will yell, "Stop it! No, that kind of stuff out them." And then I reach in. I'm confident when I do it. I reach in and separate them. Now, if a bird turns around, KK's good at that. If he's in his territorial mode and he turns around and he's snapping at me, he's actually moving in my direction like he will bite. And it's to protect me. It's almost as if he's saying, this is the way you should think of it. I've got this, leave me alone. I'm in charge here. He's taking over your protection, right? So what I do is I pull my hand back for a second and then put it right back up again. And so he gets my concept here, and I don't know if it's true with him, but this is what I think happens. he realizes that I'm acknowledging that he's trying to protect me, but I'm still trying to stop him. It works. He generally won't lunge at me again after that, but then I have to take my hand and push him away. And then if I use my other hand to push the other bird away, and but still, if you can do this as calmly and confidently as possible, it will make it much easier the next time you have to do it. Now, professionals, that includes vets and trainers and whatever kind of experienced handlers that are out there that have done this for a while. They know the cues, they know the body language of the birds, they understand the particular rules that need to be applied to a particular bird. Okay, so what they have is through their training, behavioral insight. Now, not all vets have that. The first vet I went to, and I would never go back to this place ever again. Fortunately, I'm not even close to it, but I went to hand Chloe over to this vet, and he said, "Oh no, I don't handle parrots." And I said, "Well, she doesn't bite." And he looked at me and he said, "Oh, no, what's going on with my screen? Hold on, guys. I can't see my screen. That was weird." Sometimes the app goes crazy, but he said, "I don't touch birds." And I bite. And I said, she doesn't bite. He said, "Oh, I've heard that before." And the next words out of my mouth were, "Have you heard this before? I'm leaving and I'm not paying." Um, when you go to Dr. Jenkins in San Diego, if something happens and he does get bit, he just sloughs it up. He's like, "Okay, well," he's like, he keeps account. That was the first time today, or that's the second time. It doesn't bother him, right? So not all vets have that handling capability. Most of them have not taken any behavioral training whatsoever. It's not part of the curriculum. Yeah, most veterinary schools. It's funny, they teach you about avian physiology and how to do surgery, but not how to handle them. Well, they teach basic handling, how to use a towel and that kind of thing. And I train the birds so that they don't need to be handled in a towel, but so you can't count on going to a vet that knows how to handle a bird, so you need to teach your bird. And here we go again. I don't know why this thing's blanking my screen, folks, so bear with me a sec. Watch Cecil try to beat me up. Are you trying to get my hand? I've got somebody trying to steal my hand too. So when you're learning to handle a bird, training is your best way, and you're training yourself along with training them, getting them on a perch, if that's possible from the start, and getting them to do targeting first. Follow your hand. Targeting is over here, over there, over here, there, that kind of thing. You teach them to get the little treat there, get the little treat there, and slowly teach them to follow your hand with the treat wherever. And if you follow that with a word like target, or you can just say here, here, whatever word you're going to use, you're going to stay consistent with it. So once you decide on it, you're stuck with it with a word. So target or here works. And if you're getting a bird to step up, it's a lot easier to get them to step up if you have a treat in your hand and you say target or here. You get them to step and then say step up right as they're starting to step, and then give them the treat at the moment they make the step. Okay, not when they're just standing there. You don't want to reward them for standing. No. And the training that I had given the birds early on, I only had one class in aviation at the time, but when we had the fire, because I was able to just reach in and take them out of their cages and take them out to the car, boom, 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 put them in a carrier cage out to the car, nobody died. But if I had birds that were fighting me when I was taking them out of the cage, okay, if I had birds that, what are you doing there? When I reached in, they would cower back. Well, then I would have had birds that were either died of smoke inhalation or got sick because of it. So usually, if they die, if they get smoke inhalation, it's not, they don't usually get sick, but it's usually that quick. So in emergencies, you need to be able to, here, you're coming with me. So, and they all did. I mean, they just folded their feathers in and did what I told them to do. So they saw the urgency on my face and it was all done. So that's an important reason that you get to where you can handle them and feel confident about it. If not, you better have a towel ready, and that's not the easiest way to do it. So, and again, if you got a bird that is fearful or aggressive, then you need to use protected contact for a while. So protected contact is you got a barrier of some kind. Usually it's their cage, the bars on their cage. I've seen a few, not many. I've seen a few handlers use gloves. I would never do that. And the reason I wouldn't use gloves is because you're not training them to deal with your hands. When you take the glove off, they have a totally different situation. So it's like you didn't train them in anything except to be accepting of gloves. You're still not accepting of hands. But there may be some situations when you can do it. Sticks work too. You know, if you have, they're not usually afraid of a stick. So if you have, this is not a stick, but if you have something and you put it in front of them, look at that look on her face. Why are you sticking at me? She knows it's a toy. Why are you doing that? But it's one way to keep them back if you have to have protected contact. And you work to get out of that situation as quickly as possible. But the behavior training is the most important thing, getting them onto a perch and training them in veterinary behaviors. You know, step up, get your wings out, open your beak so I can see down your throat, go upside down, right? Allow, and then touch them all over, you know, quickly. You know, you would touch a leg, she's going to want me to pet her beak. Touch a leg, touch the back, touch different areas just a little bit, just quick touch. So they get used to a veterinarian doing that. I see. I'll pet your beak if you want me to. I always want you to. And some birds are afraid of hands. I mean, they have opposable toes, so they can open them like this. They can't do this though. So when you're working with a bird at first, it's best to just open and close your hand without moving your fingers independently. It looks a little odd. Kind of like it looks odd when you see a snake dislodge its jaw and open its mouth that big. That looks pretty weird to us. Well, that's how it looks to them when we wiggle our fingers. So they can't do that. We can't hold things. So desensitizing them can take a little while, but you want to desensitize them to being touched. This is Sugar's thing. Pet the beak, pet the beak. Too much of this too much of this with a bird can be a problem, but she's already made it to me, and she doesn't tend to. This is a bird that doesn't tend to show much in the way of mating behavior, unless you come in and get close to her cage and she sees you as a threat to her relationship with me. Then you'll see it, but you'll see her vocalize and all those feathers standing out at once. It's pretty impressive. Most people mistake that as, oh, isn't that cute? Sure, it's really cute when
Well,
the
it's
lion roars.
cute, but it's like, look, but don't touch.
Yep. Stay away from my guy.
That's like, I also find bears or tigers cute, but it's not like I want to pet a tiger or bear.
No. So, just to finish up, we can have questions if anyone has any, but um, what you need is a blend of knowledge, patience, and knowledge is knowing their behaviors, that kind of thing. What the behavior of a species is in general, that's my foot. Now, leave it alone. Stop it. Get up here. Get up. Come on. Good boy. Good boy. Yeah, you need to understand the unique behaviors that each bird has too. So they have common behaviors of the species, but they also have unique behaviors. And that's something you have to learn with each bird. If Commander comes over and gets on that rope right about there, or starts to climb down this cage over here, this one is going to go after him. This one is not. This one's going to look over like, are you out of your mind? She gets that look on your face like, oh, here we go again. Lucy, she's calm and quiet, and she's at a spot where people can get around her without actually having to go by her, but she'll defend where she is. Getting by her is not easy. So she's found a good spot there. Somebody can actually go around her without actually bumping into her. She will defend herself. Pretty quiet little bird. You think, well, she's calm. Yeah, right. Try to go around her when she doesn't want you to. Or try to take her out of the cage. Getting her out of the cage is my method now is I take my fingers like this and I go like this in front of her beak, and then she lunges at my fingers here, and then I put my feet under her feet. I have my fingers under her feet and get her up. That's how I do it. And then she likes to come in here, but getting her out of that cage, you have to play a game. And it is a game to her. She isn't really trying to hurt you. She could, but she isn't trying to. And that one, when you go to, for example, getting him out of his cage, he will give you signals. If he turns his back on you, you don't have much chance. Right? He's not going to come out, and you could force him, but he will be really unhappy. So you don't want to do that. He will try to get back into his cage. He will run to the door over here. So you talk to him and coax him, and other times he'll be doing circles in his cage, all the way from the perch up to the side of the cage, top of the cage, back down to the perch. Circle, 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 circle. That means I want to get out of here. Take me into the other room. So, and sometimes he's just sitting there. You put your hand in him, and he jumps up. So he's one of those ones that he has multiple behavior patterns, and you just have to know, how to deal with each one of them. I coaxed him today. He wasn't too thrilled about coming in, but I just came back to him a couple of times and talked to him sweetly, put my hand out, and he finally tentatively put a foot on my hand, and then he came. So if you're new to this, or you only have one bird and you want to focus on gentle and appropriate handling techniques, okay, professionals can navigate much more complex interactions. All right. So, and that includes two birds trying to kill each other, or one bird chasing another. What are you looking at her for? You never look at her. Why are you looking at sugar? What are you doing? Mm-hmm. And instead of freaking out if your bird starts biting, just use protected contact and work your way back into where you can do direct contact again. So you have a way around that. Protected contact is a way. One last thing on protected contact, you can take a perch and you can take a Elizabethan collar, the kind of collar you put around a bird, and you can put it on the perch, cinch it to the perch, and that way if you have a bird that tends to run up to you, you now have that cover over your hand. I only had to do that once, and that was only for a week, and then that particular Amazon was in the aviary with us, just running around. But initially, when you put the perch up there, he would run up and try to take your arm off. So Well, I hope that the information I've given out today is going to be helpful to some of you. You never know, someone will come along. And I remember I had a lady who writes a lot of books. She's quite prolific in writing um, fantasy books, and she was having two of her birds were flunking, and it was getting pretty bad. They weren't cockatoos, by the way, and it was getting pretty bad. And she watched one of our videos, and then she watched the one on Paradol, and now her birds are in perfect feathers. So the issue is over with. You never know who you're going to reach, right, Sugar? He says, "Are you done with that phone yet, so I can get petted?" Believe me, when I put the phone down and we stop doing the video, that's exactly what she'll do. So come over and start
Says the
whining at
whining
me.
will start.
Mm-hmm. Help me, help me. She knows she's learned she doesn't get that much when I have to do one of these live meetings. She will sit there quietly and wait, but she won't be quiet when it's over.
Seems even Cecil has partially realized that. Quite a good boy and quiet. Oh, Cecil.
He's a very
Cecil.
good boy.
So another chatter has joined us. It's Coolio, and he has told us already in chat that he has had problems with his umbrella cockatoo this spring, since mating season has hit pretty bad. And I think he said the umbrella cockatoo is 40 years old and laid for the first time an egg, which sadly got bound, and while the bird could be rescued by a vet and surgery, but I know that must have been trouble. Oh my.
Very scary.
It is.
Definitely. Super
It is
terrifying.
scary.
Yeah,
I was
so we've been
afraid.
talking about some of the ways to reduce that mating behavior. So keeping away from nesting materials and not petting for more than 5 minutes and not feeding warm foods. I don't know if you have any other tips, Don.
Yeah, that's all good. You can also just feed in the morning, put the food out for an hour, take it out, as long as you have somebody else around, right? Um, if you're a single person, I can't do that. I have to leave the food in there all day. But if you want to reduce it, just put the food in for an hour, take the food out. They'll figure that out quickly. And when the food goes in there, they'll eat. And then you can do 2 hours if you want, 2 hours in the morning, 2 hours at night. And then when there's less food, they don't tend to breed. And unlike a lot of animals, they do not have to produce eggs. They won't produce eggs if there's not enough food around. If they don't have any reason to produce them, if they don't have a mate, they won't produce them generally. So the other thing, you can get a Deslorelin implant, and that will stop the urge, and that will keep them from producing eggs. So, Cecil, what are you doing?
Oh, Cecil.
What's
He's
up?
also having a tough mating season this year.
Oh,
Fortunately, he is male and cannot lay eggs. Cecil.
That's
What
the
makes
reason
him
he came. That's why he came to the sanctuary in the first place. Because they thought
Yep.
he was a female and they were like, huh, this bird's not laying any eggs.
Yeah. Cecil well, he hasn't had any real name, just a combination of letters, but Don was told he is a female bird who refuses to lay eggs, so he was not good for the breeders and was relinquished. So Don gave him the name Cecilia, which one can hear in the very first videos, until we found out it's a Cecil.
Yeah. Cecil bird. I see some.
Hmm. That's
And
Cecil.
why they thought he was a girl, we don't know, because he's quite obviously a Casanova. But
That's what I wanted to say.
There,
He
there,
he's
there
such a
was
lady's bird.
he is a Casanova, yeah. There was a lady who had been breeding birds for years who was trying to get people to do it for money. She's no longer with us. She died, but so there were people, ignorant people, trying to raise birds because this woman was, you know, pro-capitalist, pro let's make money on birds, and she had no training in behavior either. So there are a couple of books by this woman out there, and I would use them to start a fire if I were to use any. I would just, they had a they had a fireplace and no birds in the house. I would use those books to start a fire. But she thought that just because she was around birds for 20 years that she understood them. Uh, no, it doesn't work that way. It takes a combination of study and being with them at the same time. Hi, boy, what are you doing? You gonna hit me with that chain? Hmm? You are? Mm-hmm.
So
Anything
Giselle,
else?
plant-based vegan, joined us. She thinks Cecil makes a great co-host
Yeah, he
and
does.
asks if there are any indicators of their sex.
Well, yeah. If a bird has a light colored eyes, an umbrella or a larkin has light colored eyes, uh, then they're female, but that doesn't guarantee that a bird with dark eyes is male because if they didn't get enough iron in their diet early on, and these breeders don't feed them that well, most of them. So if they didn't get enough iron, then they will still have dark eyes. Um, Behavior is your best indicator. Um, it's not always 100%. I mean, KK will vibrate. Generally, only females vibrate. Um, I mean, there's exceptions, but he will vibrate like a female. That threw me off because I heard he was a male and he was vibrating. But males will flare their tail when they're trying to mate,
which
and
KK
they'll.
also does. He does both sets of behaviors.
I've never seen a female do that. So females tend to vibrate and hunch down. Males tend to flare their tails. So, and also do inappropriate things with toys and arms but again with a flared tail. So you can tell by that behavior. It's inexpensive to get the test, the DNA test. Vet usually, I can't guarantee, depends on the vet. Usually a vet will charge $40 if you take the blood from a nail, or some places do it through feathers. And you send it in yourself. It's usually about $20 to find out. And it is helpful because there is some difference. We all know that males aren't cuddly. Yeah, males are cuddly, aren't they?
Mm,
He's not being cuddly right now, but he is a cuddly bird, aren't you?
sweetie pie. No, as Eleanor said in chat, DNA testing or egg laying are basically the only two things which guarantee that the result is true.
Yeah,
Otherwise,
and you have,
all the other hints can be misleading to
and it's
us
best to talk.
humans.
You can, if your avian vet will talk to you, it's best to, if you're not going to have him, the avian vet do it, then you find out what place she uses to do their tests, because vets will tend to use an appropriate place. There are some companies that are like anything else, they're just out for money and they don't do the job. But those tests are generally, if they're done by a good lab, they're going to be right. So, and they don't have X and Y chromosomes, folks. They have different sets. So they don't have the same kind of chromosomes we have.
I think they have S and T or something like that.
I can't remember. It's one of those things that didn't stick when I studied it. what it was. It was more important to me to know that it was different. And the fact that they have their red blood cells actually have chromosomes in them where ours don't.
Mm. I think in birds it's that the male has 2 chromosomes the same and the female has the 2 different ones, which is the opposite of mammals.
Yeah,
I
they're
think.
definitely different. Yeah, I think you're right too. They're definitely different in a lot of ways. You gonna hold my face? What are you gonna do?
Mm. Then we have Jocelyn Trittle, who joins us from Atlanta, waiting for her next plane, and Cinnamon is with her.
I hope her weather's better than ours out here.
Mm.
Supposed to be 105 today, which is 45 degrees centigrade. So, and I have to go out and get watered. So, there are some days where it gets so hot in the Mojave Desert, you don't actually want to drive because you're not sure your tires can handle it. Once it gets over 110, you have to be careful where you park, and there aren't many shaded spots in this town. So, blacktop can get pretty hot.
Oh, and then we have another chatter joining us just now. It's HDHD Kids and Cockatoo Todd saying, my cockatoo had a cough. I rushed him to vets. They gave me dog antibiotics, but couldn't find what was wrong with him.
Yeah, that's pretty odd. Generally don't get coughs. Hey. You can't come here. Come here. No, come here. Good boy. Good boy. When you do that, I can't hear because you're slamming it up against my earpiece, and you know that. He knows that he's playing with my earpiece. Yeah, well, you're gonna get a lot of that from avian vets. We don't know. Generally, what they give you for lung issues is Baytril. Lucy's she had a lot of troubles with her lungs, but that seems to be solved now. So she hasn't had an issue with an infection in her lungs in quite a while, right, Luce? This is you're talking about me. You said Lucy. You said Lucy. Lovely Lucy, pretty bird. Well, it's about time for us to go, and that means it's about time for these guys to get busy. That means that she'll wake up and start dancing around, and Mander will probably come over and get himself in trouble. Although whether or not he'll try to pass Lucy,
The vlog says meeting is over.
Yeah, I know.
Shut the live stream. Dad.
Thank you, bird. Oh, thank you, bird. Bird. Thank you, Amy. Thank you, Eleanor, for assistance in the chat room. And we'll see you guys next week. Don't forget, we do have, you can make donations on our website, arwesanctuary.org. And
yeah, thank you, John, for the stream.
Yeah.
Yeah, or come join us on Discord, Telegram, Patreon. So there are also chats available where you can chat with us anytime. So feel free to join. I just put the link tree in the chat where you can find all the links to reach out to us. So hope to see you there.
And Cecil will be there to beat you up. Right, Cecil? He's back up there whacking my earpiece again. That's Cecil.
All right, guys.
Next time. Bye.